Greetings commanders and welcome back to another Warpath video. My name is Eagle, and as you know, you love these series. Officer Highlights is finally back. We have 6 new officers that we haven't covered yet, so there's gonna be a lot of videos coming in the next few days about these officers. We're gonna be highlighting them, telling you what are their basically abilities and skills and everything that you need to know about them, and our recommendations for their pairings as well, and whether you should invest in them or not at this stage in the game. So without further ado, let's get right into this video. So in the latest update, which is 6.0, we have Lady Justice, we have Argent Flame, and we have Thorn Countess, that were both of the three officers were added. But in this video, we're going to be focusing about Thorn Countess specifically, talking about her skill set, talking about her best pairings as well. We're not going to be showing you exactly how she performs in combat, and the reason for that is because she is a Garrison officer. But we're definitely going to be doing some videos later on showing you how she would perform when it comes to a base versus base, which is something that has a lot of factors, to be fairly honest. That's why that video requires a little bit more time to construct, but don't worry, when it comes to the test servers, it's probably not that hard to actually do something like that. But the problem with these type of videos is sometimes there's a lot of factors involved and you wouldn't know exactly how an officer performs when there are like multiple units within the base trying to counter and whatnot, and having the base damage itself affect that as well. So let's talk about this new officer right now. So basically the tactical skill over here gives you a shield coefficient of 1500, which is massive for this type of officer, and in addition to that you would have also some increased firepower of 8% for yourself and all the ground troops around you in one grid. Now this is basically a little bit of like misspell over here. They kind of flipped them, but that effect lasts for 1 second as well, so it's pretty solid. You're affecting your allies, you're giving them more kind of firepower by 8% when maxed out, and also you're shielding your units as well, which is pretty solid skill. This one over here is a passive skill that increases the damage buff for your units by 20%, which is pretty solid, especially when added to a super heavy. Definitely any addition to the damage over there is always good, especially on the battlefield. Those super heavies do pack a punch, and especially when used also on MBTs. This is a pretty solid officer to also be using on MBTs if you are looking to make them a little bit more tanky in the field, a little bit higher sustainability. That's always a plus, definitely on the main battle tanks as well. This one over here reduces the damage taken for that officers from officer skills only by 30%, which is a massive kind of reduction, especially when it comes to officers that like deal a lot of damage coefficients. These days we have like 1800 damage coefficients, which is kind of crazy. So reducing that by 30% is always good, especially when you're dealing with those high damage skills with artilleries and whatnot. But most importantly, we have this passive over here, which increases the HP by 40%. That is a massive percentage over here. That's a big boy percentage. And definitely Blue Blood is one of the skills that I would upgrade first. So if I were to go, which skills would you upgrade first? I would definitely finish this one all the way to level 4, because having it to level 5 is going to be like a massive investment. So I think level 4 would be good enough at this point. Afterwards, we would go for the HP one, get it also to level 4. That's a pretty solid investment, and then we would go upgrade these depending on what play style. Basically, I would definitely put a probably 2 or 3 points in here and 2 or 3 points in here, and then whatever one you would go for. But I would max this one out first. Definitely, this is super important to be maxed out first, and then focusing on the rest of them as well. When you have her awakened, you will have Beauty Worth Preserving skill, which is a passive skill that unlocks, which is a new skill, not an upgrade for the previous ones. Basically what happens over here, when this troop is garrisoned within the base, any shield that is applied by that troop will be increased by 15% and can be used by the base, which means that, for instance, if we have a shield with 1000 worth, then the base will be able to actually use that shield, and which is like kind of insane, right? And then also your base will receive 10% less damage from normal attacks, which is massive, especially when you are getting swarmed. When your base is like being attacked by multiple units, like 20 units, those 10% will be insanely big. So that's why this is probably one of the S tier units that have been joining the game lately. we really need to revise our tier list right now because so many officers, and these officers are kind of massive right now. Because when there's so many officers, there's a lot of choices, which is always good, but it also leaves some really bad choices as well on the table. So we have to make sure that we do a tier list very soon for these officers. But when it comes to pairing this officer with other officers that we currently have, which ones that I see this officer being paired with that is extremely highly recommended? And I think the answer is obvious over here: Steel Fighter. Now, why do I think these two are amazing together? Besides the traits being really similar, tank, garrison, defense, and I think we have tank, garrison, defense as well over here. So pairing these on a super heavy or an MBT that you want to be like have higher sustainability, it's always amazing. But there's a main reason for that. That is, this one gives you a shield coefficient of 1500. But the thing about this shield coefficient over here is it's gonna be magnified when the other one is maxed out, meaning that if you have this garrison, that other shield will also be increased by 15%, which means that the overall shields are going to be increased by 15%, and those two together work really, really well. You will have an extremely high sustainability when it comes to these two units paired on one single troop together. Those two officers definitely do work well together. This one has some blast damage, the other one doesn't have blast damage, but it has damage resistance, and this one has some additional damage resistance and HP buff. It also has some damage buff, so you'll be getting a total of 35% damage buff, a 50% blast damage resistance, but also you'll be getting some damage resistance buff, a big one, and an HP buff as well for both of these tanks, with the massive shield that's being added for both together. Now, when you max this one out, it's going to be an insane shield, 2k over here when it comes to maxed out, and when it's garrisoned, it reduces the damage received by the base from officer skills by 30%. So you're not only reducing the damage that your base is being taken, or your base takes, by 10% when it comes to normal attacks, you're also decreasing it by 30% when it comes to officer skills as well. These two together are the perfect combo for super heavy tanks and very heavy main battle tanks that you are wrecking right now within your arsenal. They are definitely the best combo that is going on right now within the game. I've seen, I'm sorry Spanner, but hey, there's definitely a better combo right now. I mean, Spanner is not bad at all, don't get me wrong, and this officer over here is definitely pretty solid, and it has field recovery. I mean, if you were using the super heavies on the field, you'd probably be more using Spanner rather than the other one, but I mean, still, that is definitely a massive, that's because mainly the healing coefficient over here and the field recovery, which is always very important when it comes to any field fights basically. However, if you are on Garrison, there's no doubt these two together, Thorn Countess and Steel Fighter, are the best possible combo for your Garrison right now. So this is mainly the best combo for Garrison, hands down. Make sure to use that, and make sure to upgrade this officer because it's an S tier officer for sure. In order to actually unlock this officer, you would need to be in a server that's already been out there for 300 days, so about a year opened, and there's a lot of these servers right now, so you can transfer to any of these if you feel like you have the necessary power for that. And talking about that, we're already in one right now. I just transferred yesterday to server 12 Alliance skill. If you're interested in that, I'll leave in the description below a contact person where you can check and talk to them in Discord and know more information about that server as well. So hey, this is the video for you. I hope you guys enjoy it. I will definitely see you on the next video. If you did like it, maybe throw us a like down there and consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.